Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Royal Ascot. Well, let's get straight into it. So, as you can see, the weather forecast. Well, I'm going to talk you through it very shortly. I'm going to progress the chart, and you're going to see the time move. Well, make your own decision, but anyway. So this is 2:45. 3:15. You can see the map marker just there. That's Ascot. So 3:30, 3:45, 4 a.m, 4:15. Yes, there's quite a lot of rain missing Ascot, but it does actually get there. So the green is 2 to 4 mil an hour, and then we start getting to the I wouldn't say this has changed. This has changed since I last looked. It looks like a lot of it misses Ascot, but as you can see from when I last looked, it was absolutely pelting Ascot at roughly about between 5 and about 7:30 on and off tomorrow morning. Well, I personally think that the ground will change. I'm not saying for any aspect that it's going to be heavy or anything like that. I think the going at Ascot will be good. Maybe if it really gets hit, it could be good to soft in places, but I think it could be genuine good ground, and I think that could actually work towards some of the softer ground horses, the preferences. Don't get me wrong, I've not gone for anything that wants heavy ground, but I've gone for horses that want good or slightly slower than good. So here are my selections. Even if it's good firm in places, it doesn't really matter too much because the horses I've gone for can still handle that, but they would prefer good ground. So let me get into it. I'm 2 minutes in already. So here are the selections for Royal Ascot on the 20th of June. So what I've gone for is £23.40 in total. They're all each way bets. So I've gone for 50p each way singles, 20 pence each way doubles, and a 10 pence each way hinds. Basically, I've not had a lucky 63 because it's just having more singles again with all the 10 pence each way. So let me get into it. So the first selection is Bucanero Fuerte. Yeah, I've got that wrong, haven't I? At 12 to 1 in the 3 at Royal Ascot, paying 6 places instead of 3. I think this is drawn favourably. It's also one of the Ammo Racing Limited horses, and also Kevin Stott has gone for this one. It's ran once, it won pretty well in the end. It had to battle towards the end, but I think it'll come on for the run, and I think it'll be a decent horse. It has got quite a bit to find on the principles, but I think Ammo Racing don't have bad horses, or they don't have too many bad horses, and it really looks like they are actually buying some real quality horses, especially 2-year-olds, and I think this is one of them. The second selection is Twilight Calls at 14 to 1 in the 3:40 at Ascot, paying 6 places instead of 3. I'll tell you what, to be honest, I've actually selected about 3 to 4 horses and changed my mind. Yeah, I did originally pick Mitbahi, but the price is 15 to 2 now. I think it's from 25. It's too short now. I went for Twilight Calls. I stuck with that. I did also look at the Hannon trained horse. It's lost me now. I was intrigued by looking at the Haydock run. I think it was a Temple Stakes. Those that were drawn in the middle of the course were massively penalised, and I think personally there's quite a few in this race that could be decent value that come out of that race. The winner, Dramatized, came down the stand side and was massively favoured by that. And I think Twilight Calls was actually travelling amongst the best, but it couldn't quite get a run, and then didn't find a great deal. But it came second in this race last year, Twilight Calls did, in the King's Stand, and I think it could run another decent race. The third selection is Isaac Shelby at 15 to 2 in the 4:20 at Royal Ascot, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse needs to make the most of its draw. It needs to be right up with the pace. And last year, I believe, 3 out of the first 5 were always prominent in that race. So if it's prominent, I think it's got every chance, especially if coming in the first 4. The fourth selection is Western at 14 to 1 in the 5 o'clock at Royal Ascot, paying 7 places instead of 3. This is Gordon Elliott, and basically nobody knows a great deal about this horse. It's been campaigning over a mile and a half. It's ran once for Gordon Elliott after being, I think it was gelded before that race. Gordon Elliott will know if this horse stays 2 mile, 3.5 furlong from all his exploits on the National or the National Flat as well. But the National sending horses hurdling or chasing, he will know if this horse stays 2 mile, 3.5 furlong, and I would have thought it does. It's got a relatively low draw, and I think if it hugs the rail all the way round and then see what it's got towards the finish, I think it's got a decent chance. The fifth selection is Bolshoi Ballet at 6 to 1 in the 5:35 at Royal Ascot in the Wolverton Stakes, paying 5 places instead of 3. This horse is one of the guaranteed stayers, and it needs to be prominent without, in my opinion, forcing it. But I do think it needs to probably stretch them as soon as they turn that final bend. I can't see it doing beforehand, but it needs to be right up there, pressing the leaders. Without actually forcing too much, if you know what I mean. We don't want it to go off too quick, so it actually softens itself up. But I do think if you can gradually up the tempo from quite a long way out, I think we've got a decent chance. And finally, this is another race where I've chose quite a few at a different point, but I've gone with Garci at 22 to 1 in the 6:10 at Ascot in the Copper Horse Handicap, paying 5 places instead of 4. I definitely think Get Shirty's got a chance again. I do like the look of this horse, and I also like the look of, I think it's called Arday or Arday. It's ridden by Holly Doyle, but this horse is what I've gone for. Gassi, I do think it's very lightly raced, and I think there's more improvement to come. The only disappointment was on good firm ground. Well, I don't think it's going to be that tomorrow, and I think because it was lame when it actually last run on that, but it was still, I believe, it could have been 11 to 4 favourite that day in a big field. It's ran very well in big handicaps, and I just think Willie Haggis has just headed into a bit of form now. Don't get me wrong, his horses always need 2 or 3 runs at the beginning of the season. Well, this has only had 1, I believe, but I do think that the race it ran in was actually far too good for it. It was the horses were rated a lot higher, and I do think it needs to benefit from its low draw. It needs to ride. So I'm not making this very clear, but it needs to ride a very quiet race on it and bring it just as a turn in for home. And I think it's got every chance. So the very best of luck, Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.